Again, welcome everybody. It's great to see you all here this evening. We are celebrating 30 years since our Hantam community project began in 1989. Let's look back a little to see where we've come from. Things are very different now from how they were in the 1980s. This week we've seen how difficult it is for the children to imagine how things were in the old days. Thank goodness. This shows how things have changed for them. In those days, there was great mistrust between communities in the Hantam. People were afraid that violence would break out. Children had to walk long distances to school on freezing winter mornings and hot, blazing, sunny summers. The schools were poor. They did not have the teachers and the equipment to prepare children for higher education or jobs. The project began in a small way with very small children. Claire Barnes-Webb, whose husband was the manager on Vlakfontein and Koersfontein farms, noticed something. The youngest children who were with their mothers buying at the store had nothing to play with. She felt a need to do something for them. She decided to start a play group for them every Monday morning in an empty storeroom. Soon her neighbor, Leslie Osler from Hunglip, brought her children from the farm to join Claire's play group. They struggled to make it work. So Claire contacted a friend, Jane Evans, for advice. Jane had started a very successful preschool and training centre on a farm at Viljoenskroon in the Free State, and Jane advised them to consult the community. So a meeting was arranged for the parents of the children to discuss the way forward. They chose 3 women, Nombulelo Macheke, Tembakazi Macheka, and Letty Martins, to go to Jane's training centre in Viljoenskroon on the train. The 3 returned inspired by what they'd seen and learned. And it's wonderful that those 3 are still with us today. The owner of Koersfontein Farm gave them permission to turn an empty house into a play school, so now it could be a proper school, not just a play group. It was called Fundisana. Workers and volunteers painted the house and colourful tires and tins for the playground. The play group was then 3 days a week, and Anja Pina joined in, bringing the farm children from Veltervrede Farm. It was such a success that Claire invited parents to regular meetings in her home and served tea and cake. At one meeting, a grandfather, Richard Maliti, if you remember him, stood up and said there was a problem. Where were the children going to go next? He pleaded for a primary school on the farm. Leslie and Claire understood his concern, but this was a very big challenge. They thought hard about it. When they decided to go ahead with it, they made 2 important commitments. One, Claire said that the school had to deliver quality education. And secondly, Leslie said that we can't promise anything that we can't follow through because the people have been let down so many times before. Now we can celebrate that the children of the first children who came to the school are here now in the school that their parents attended. So give that a big clap, everybody. Well, when they started the primary school, the owner of Koersfontein Farm gave permission to use another house for the school. The Department of Education provided 2 teachers and furniture. Leslie persuaded neighbours who were teachers to join the project. Leslie had a talent for pulling in all her neighbours who could contribute anything to the school. There were also adult classes in the evenings and skills training in carpentry, welding and sewing. But at every stage of the school's development, the big question was, how can we improve the conditions for the children's learning? Now, one of the biggest problems was distance. They needed transport. At first, the farmers brought the children to school, but their bakkies began to break, and then there was a drought that reduced their incomes. The school then started to provide transport. First, some of you might remember this, there was the koekblik, which was cold as a fridge in winter and hot as an oven in summer. Eventually, there was a 60-seater bus and a fleet of new four-wheel drive bakkies equipped with benches and canopies. However, soon there were too many children in the school for the house. Every space, even a stable, was used for teaching. Leslie, Claire and Anya dreamed of having a proper school campus. But where? The owner of Grootfontein donated land for a school. Again, the farming community provided what we call sweat equity to create the campus. The parents dug ditches, planted trees, helped to build the classrooms. Then the trust was legally set up to manage the finances and govern the project. Leslie, Claire and Anya became full-time fundraisers and managers, and so Estelle Jacobs joined them as their project manager. And what a manager she is. They took steps to improve the children's learning. Here are just 7 of them. The school's governing body decided with the parents that English would be the medium of instruction. This was after lots of experimentation with multilingual and so on. Dr. Louis Benjamin introduced a basic color, shape, size and position concepts program in the foundation phase in preschool. Some children were found to miss school because of illness. The trust started a clinic and a pharmacy on the farm and camps to help children with emotional problems. A kitchen provides the children with a proper meal every day. The staff has regular professional development workshops to keep the quality of the teaching going. Effective parenting field workers visit pregnant mothers to give advice on proper nutrition during pregnancy and the early years of the children's lives. They explain the effects of alcohol on the growing child. And they have a special skills class to help children with learning difficulties. The trust employs extra teachers to make sure that children have a teacher for each grade. Children's futures, however, don't stop in grade 9. Education has to eventually result in opportunities for jobs. A bursary fund sends children to suitable high schools to get matric. There's a hospitality training program accredited internationally by City and Guilds. And 98% of these graduates have jobs. I think that deserves applause. A skills program for agricultural workers improves their chances of getting employment. Children who achieve good matric results can go to university or tertiary technical training facilities. And then, very importantly, the trust mentors their graduates for 3 years in their first jobs to make sure that they adapt successfully to the world of work. Right now, Estelle is mentoring 74 first-time employees. Hundreds of Hantam's alumni of the school are employed. These employees include a champion welder who's represented South Africa internationally, a lawyer, radiographer, hairstylist, chefs, social workers, teachers, employees in hotels and guest houses, housekeepers, public relations officers, mechanics, bookkeepers and tellers, police, panel beaters and spray painters, a pharmacy assistant, ambulance driver, construction workers, a personal assistant in the correctional services department, retail supervisors and assistants, health department officials, quality control officers, and a wildlife tracker. The sky is the limit for opportunities to participate gainfully in the economy. So, Wam Kele Kile, hartelijk welkom. Welcome to the celebration of our story in dance. Thank you.
coming. We have a lot of small children here. Your mothers are busy and the children have nothing to play with. Should we start a playgroup with them?
Yes!
Will the workers here help prepare space for the playgroup?
Yes!
Then we'll have to choose which 3 of you will train as teachers.
Why don't you Letty? Why don't you Nopulelo?
Why don't you Chemagazi? Let's say the teachers straight.